Peace. Let's go in. By watching some of my videos on the Black Indian theory, you may get some folk that might be a little upset about it, but truth is truth, okay? We've been called many descriptions by the straight hair races. We got to understand there's straight hair races with dark skin, and there are 9 sun-haired people on the planet with dark skin who are the original people. We've been called many descriptions by the straight hair. One of the best descriptions is Ethiopian. An Ethiopian, for dark-skinned people around the world, predates any other description, especially Indian. Okay, so we're reading over here on the right side, right? Okay. Ethiopia was the first established country on earth, and the Ethiopians were the first who introduced the worship of the gods and who established laws. The vestiges of this early civilization have been found in Nubia, the Egyptian Sudan, West Africa, Egypt, Mashonaland, India, Persia, Mesopotamia, Arabia, South America, Central America, Mexico, and the United States. Can we read that again? Okay. Ethiopia was the first established country on earth, and the Ethiopians were the first who introduced the worship of the gods and who established laws. The vestiges of this early civilization have been found in Nubia, the Egyptian Sudan, West Africa, Egypt, Mashonaland, India, Persia, Mesopotamia, Arabia, South America, Central America, Mexico, and the United States. Let's continue on. Any student who doubts this will find ample evidence in such works as The Voice of Africa by Dr. Leo Frobenius, Prehistoric Nations in Ancient America by John D. Baldwin, Rivers of Life by Major General J.G.R. Forlong, A Book of the Beginnings in Ancient Egypt by Gerald Massey, Children of the Sun and the Growth of Civilization by W.J. Perry, The Negro by Professor W.E.B. Du Bois, The Anacalypsis by Sir Godfrey Higgins, Isis Unveiled by Madam H.P. Blavatsky. Okay, give me a moment. The Division of Culture by Sir Grafton Elliott Smith, The Mediterranean Race by Professor Sergi, The Ruins of Empires by Count Volney, The Races of Europe by Professor William Z. Ripley, and last but not least, the brilliant monographs of Mr. Maynard Shipley, New Light on Prehistoric Cultures and Americans of a Million Years Ago. Okay, now see that right there. We got to follow the information, and we got to follow the true scientists of light, right, and enlightenment for our ancient past has continued on to the present moment, okay? So I want to read this again. New Light on Prehistoric Cultures and Americans of a Million Years Ago. Also Shipley's Sex in the Garden of Eden Myth, a collection of essays, the best of the lot being one entitled Christian Doctrines in Pre-Christian America. These productions of Mr. Shipley have been issued in pamphlet form in the Little Blue Book series published by Mr. E. Haldeman Julius of Girard, Kansas. Let's start here, all right? Though it is generally believed that Columbus discovered America, it is now definitely known to students of American archaeology that Columbus came late. Professor Leo Weiner has written a 3-volume work, Africa and the Discovery of America, in which he argues that the New World was discovered by Africans long before the time of Columbus. Professor Weiner was led to this conclusion partly from the following evidence. 1. African words in American Indian languages. African words in American Indian languages. 2. Vases and pipe bowls found in the ruins of the mound builders, showing Negro faces on their surfaces. The presence of African foods in America, such as the peanut and the yam. The totemic organization of the Amerindian tribes, very similar to African totemism. Totemism is a sort of primitive theory of evolution. For instance, certain tribes are divided into clans, and each clan is, as a rule, named after some species of animal. Let us suppose a tribe is divided into 4 clans bearing the following names: eagle, bear, crow, and wolf. A member of the bear clan would consider himself as descended from bears. A member of the wolf clan will tell you that he is a wolf and that all of his ancestors were wolves, and so on. Okay, this clan ancestor being known as totem. Dr. Neumayer also examined the pyramids of Teotihuacan, which he estimates to be 4,500 years of age. He thinks that these pyramids were built by people akin to the Egyptians, and from their arrangement suggests that they form a sort of model of the solar system with a pedestal in the center representing the sun. We must also mention the discoveries of Professor Raymond Mena, curator of the Department of Archaeology of the Mexican government. This scientist explored the ruins of the great city of Palenque and concluded that the ancient metropolis was built over 10,000 years ago. He also found that the inhabitants of the city were familiar with the manufacture and use of stucco. The celebrated French archaeologist Desiree Charnay unearthed statues around Mexico City more than 50 years ago with faces showing Negroid features. Pictures of some of them may be seen in Ignatius Donnelly's Atlantis, page 174 to 175. Donnelly also has illustrations of 2 similar statues, one from Palenque and the other from Veracruz. Finding that the Indians show both Mongoloid and Negroid ethnic traces, Charnay justly concluded that the Amerins, American Indians, were a mixed race of both Asiatic and African ancestry. See The Ancient Cities of the New World by Desiree Charnay. We have perfectly reliable proof of the presence of men of the Ethiopian race in pre-Columbian America. Okay? By perusing this book right here, this is a deep book. It's written in 1926. All right. You'll see the titles. Okay. And it'll go on to tell you that the dark-skinned people in America, that the New Age Indian scholars are calling themselves Indians, are the Kushites, called the Ethiopians. Okay? And in this book, okay, it goes to tell you that ancient Kushite empire of Ethiopians, the distance of the empire in hoary ages, is spread over Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. Okay? The ancient Egyptians. All right, let's deal with some nice science. Let's go in. When the writer uses the name Ethiopian, he does not mean only a woolly-haired person born in a small territory in Africa called Ethiopia today. He means a woolly-haired person born anywhere in the universe. Okay? That's a key right there to let you know that when they are talking about, the UFO theory or theology or myth, that our records already attest to the fact that we are all over the universe, okay, in some form of capacity, in all space, all matter, in all time. The root of the word Ethiopian is ether. And ether is the creative power that the sun and other true stars produce and emanate. Let's kick that again. Ether is the creative power that the sun and other true stars produce and emanate. Nine ether is the celestial origins of all Ethiopians, for it is the power that produced the African pygmy, the dwarf Ethiopian, the ancestral tree of all woolly-haired people. Listen to reason and let that be known, okay? You can't be a black Indian before you an Ethiopian. That's a fact. At one time, all Africa, all our motherland itself, and the nearby surrounding islands and territories were called Ethiopia. Okay, I just showed you that in the relevant information that I gave before. And the Atlantic Ocean was called the Ethiopian Sea. Now, let's see if we can back that up. Okay, this is an old map of Africa. If you see right here, my bad, let's go back. Nubia. All of the yellow is Ethiopia. The Atlantic Ocean is Ethiopia. Okay? This is a map of Ethiopia by Abraham Ortelli. It's believed to be done in 1573 to 1575. The Latin inscription, Presbyteri Ionis Sive Absinorum Imperi Descriptio, roughly translates to description of Prester John's empire of Abyssinia. It was believed by Europeans that the powerful and wealthy ruler Prester, named Prester John, ruled a mysterious Christian empire in Africa. All right, here's another map. This is J. Rogers, 1650. Okay. Ethiopia. All right. The following map is based on the beliefs of Pliny the Elder, who had stated that Ethiopia was formerly known as Atlantia. Okay. They try to tell you that the Indians came from Atlantis. Okay. As Atlantia, Proclus, a Greek philosopher, was also convinced that Atlantis existed in the name of Ethiopia. Quoting the Ethiopian history of Marcellus J. Rogers in 1650, published a book with this map showing the South Atlantic Ocean as Ethiopic Ocean, and the entire Central Africa is given the name of Ethiopia. But you see that it goes back to Pliny the Elder and the Greek philosopher, right, who attributed Atlantis to Ethiopia. 1706, okay? Ethiopia in the blue, right? And you still got the Ethiopian Ocean, okay? Ocean Oriental, the Oriental Ocean. It's another map of Prester John, okay? Herman Mole. Now it says Negro land in Guinea, with the European settlements explaining what belongs to England, Holland, and Denmark. Okay. See if we got any more. Okay, these is current maps. All right. Ethiopia, oldest settlements on this planet. All right. Okay. Therefore, Ethiopian is a name that gives woolly-haired people their celestial origin, terrestrial origin, and ancestral origin. Okay. Indian does not do that for us. All right. Let's read that again. Therefore, Ethiopian is a name that gives woolly-haired people their celestial origin, terrestrial origin, and ancestral origin. As you see, the Ethiopians brought culture. Ethiopians brought religion. Ethiopians brought the worship of the gods. Hence, Ethiopian is the best all-around name identification for mentally resurrected, woolly-haired people into Nuwapu by power of 9 ether gives us Ethiopians our new cycle name. Okay, so the new cycle name is Nunibu, right? These words got to go together. The new cycle name is Nunibu, all right? When you see 9 ether is Nupu, okay? What is right knowledge? Right? This is revolutionary information for the day for the Ethiopian. So we can raise up our reasoning with proper knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, overstanding. Tell me more about right knowledge. Right knowledge organizes and unifies the minds of the Nuwapians, Nubians, the Ethiopians, that is Egyptian Moors, called black people, Negroes, African Americans, and others individually and collectively. If knowledge is not to be confusing and thereby effective, then it must be in sequence. Knowledge received must be in an organized sequence in order to put the mind in order and unity. One purpose of these scrolls is to help organize and put the minds of Nuwapians, blacks, in unity in order enough to qualify for your own effective spiritual science called Nuwapu. Okay? Nuwapu. Black magic is for black people. It will clear the fog and your single eye will reopen. Sephira, clairvoyance, meaning clear vision, will return and you will see again. Nuwapu, and the forces and powers thereof are liberty, equality, justice, rightness, and proper survival for Nuwapians, blacks everywhere. Nuwapu and the powers that make it effective and binding are the equalizers for black folk. Egyptian Moors in all fields of necessity and endeavors in which other races offer contests. The liberation forces for Nuwapians. Blacks are not Caucasian in their Tamahu form of Jesus or their Lord, their Allah, nor their spirit power names of any other race and their gods. The liberation forces of Nuwapians. Blacks are 9 ether, whose scientific name will be disclosed in our science. Nuwapu, 9 ether, is the original creative forces that made these scrolls possible. Now you see how he got the Nuwapu. Dr. Malachi Z. York, the master teacher, he has Pu separated because he knew his science would be followed up by a student by the name of Afro Unu, who would continue on in the writings of 9 science. Okay, so 9 ether is Nupu, the celestial power forces of the Ethiopian. You gotta align with the cosmic flow. Listen to reason. Nupu, the mental resurrector, is the new, present, and future influence in the nature of nature. And Noon, the science of sound right reason, is their philosophy. Nupu is plural in power and purpose and includes the male and female principles. And this scientist of nature repeats the nature of nature is the God in nature, as explained in this book. The etymological, original, and true meaning of the word God is ghost, because the word God is short for ghosthood. But this advocate for the positive side of nature uses the word God anyway for explanatory and clarity purposes, because there is no other word in the English language that possesses and expresses this special connotation and meaning in ethereal science. Nupu. Original reason, the creative energy who grew the universes of nature and the original persons and things in them into form and life, is nous, pronounced nous in the American English Dictionary. The science and proper name of nous is Nupu. When you go back to the Greeks and you study nous, you will understand that they got that from the ancient Ethiopians. And indeed, Nupu is the original creator, original reason, nine reason. Of course, the original reason is primary reason. Nupu is nine reason and nine ether in general, and is indeed resurrectionist of the mental dead. And anybody calling himself a black Indian that's not connected to Africa, or thinks that Indians predate Africa, or that America is the old world and not the new world, is of the mental dead and need nine science to resurrect. Hope you liked the video. If you did, okay, giving you an all-around breakdown of the Ethiopian from then until today. Okay, the science of the Ethiopian is still apparent on the planet, right? And the original Ethiopians are the ones who brought culture and heritage. Okay, thumb up the video if you liked it. Leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? Peace.